Black Panther. Hi, my name is Kyle Suggs and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to review this movie with a 5-star character rating. Out of that we're going to come out with a 4-star ranking. And finally I'm going to give you a go, no go, or go with caution in terms of my final take. This last portion will include spoilers and I will note that below. So without any further ado, Black Panther, let's get started. Black Panther is the 18th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It stars Chadwick Boseman, Lupita Nyong'o, Michael B. Jordan, Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, and many others. Ryan Coogler actually directed this, who did a really good job in Fruitvale Station. So this movie is loaded with talent from top to bottom. And the thing about this movie that's special is that it takes place in a setting outside of New York, outside of anything urban. It takes place in Africa, in a land called Wakanda, which is a hidden land with high tech and special culture characteristics that they want to keep sacred into themselves because they don't want it spoiled by the outside world. And so this film is a lot about country, love, and family. And I particularly like this film, and it sets the Marvel Universe out in such a different way that there just had to be a powerful film when it came out. This movie made a ton of money, came out in early of 2018, broke many records, and rightfully so. So the story with Black Panther is straight out of the comic books. I give it a solid 7 in that category. And the thing is you see with the character T'Challa, how Chadwick Boseman can really get in there and let you understand what it's like to be thrust into the position that he's put in. We saw what happened to his father in Captain America Civil War. We understand that, and then we see Wakanda for the first time, and we're like, wow, this is incredible. He's over this. He's only like, what, 25 years old? And so he has to deal with that pressure, the pressure with upholding the legacy of his father, understanding what his father had done and in the past, and reconciling whether or not that was within the realms of what he thinks his father should be doing. Also, dealing with internal threats to his throne, threats outside and pressures, and smugglers trying to come in and grab something called vibranium, which Wakanda happens to be the hub of. Vibranium is basically an element that's very strong. Captain America's shield is made out of vibranium, and it also allows them to have a superior level of technology and energy source and makes the Wakanda a superior society of anywhere in the world. And yet Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa, is in charge of it all. So I give it a 7 in that category because of its adaptation, and for emotional impact I'm going to give it a 6. Angela Bassett does a really good job with expressing one scene that when you see it, you know what I'm talking about. She plays his mother. And when this scene goes down, you're like, whoa, yeah. Angela Bassett, you made your paycheck on this one. As far as the intangibles, I'm going to give this film a 7. There's a lot to like here. The acting is the number one thing to me that sets this movie apart. You have Lupita Nyong'o, who is the love interest for T'Challa. She's great. You have Angela Bassett. We just mentioned her. She's great as the mother. We have Michael B. Jordan, who is the antagonist as Killmonger, who has worked with director Ryan Coogler many times in Creed and also in Fruitvale Station. They have a chemistry. He knows what he wants out of his actor, and he delivers. In my opinion, Michael B. Jordan should have got an Oscar nomination for this film because he's the best part of this film. He's actually one of the best villains up to this point, only to be surpassed by Thanos. But to me, I think Ryan Coogler and Loki and Thanos are the 3 best villains in the Marvel MCU. And so that's something really to tip your hat to. One of the best aspects of Black Panther is its ability to be watched. The acting is great, the set direction is great, the Easter eggs are great, and for that reason alone, an MCU movie should always have a high resale value because there's so much stuff that you need to watch again to see what you missed. And so this movie is no exception whatsoever. Ryan Coogler does an excellent job directing his cast, and I think the set pieces do just enough without boring you because there's some similarity to some other films, hence The Phantom Menace, but we won't talk about that or hold it against this film because it does deliver in that aspect of getting you to the next portion, which is to get him back to where he needs to be. I'll talk some about that in the spoiler section. All in all, my rating for this film, my personal rating, meaning when I come out of the theater, what do I think? I give it a 7. I think that's pretty good. And it, again, after it's the 18th film, and so by now you're looking for something really, really big. I think it delivered on what it had to do. I just don't think it really wowed me to the point that I had to give it anything higher than that. But it is an Oscar film, and there is good reasons to like it. There is good reasons to love it. But for me, I just liked it strongly. But I do recommend it. Now it's time for my conservative take. And I don't have much to say here other than keep Wakanda great. You heard me right. Keep Wakanda great. That's the theme of this movie. The theme of this movie is, oh, and by the way, you should see the spoiler section down below, but is that Wakanda is a country that is great because of its resources, because of its people, and because of its ability to only keep the people in that love Wakanda. Part of the issue here is, should Wakanda export its resources out to the world, and should they allow people to come in and out of the country? T'Challa initially says he doesn't want that. He says it in the movie. But he's persuaded to, at the end of the film, to be less selfish selfish because he wants to help other countries because he has the ability to do so because of his resources and his technology. And Michael B. Jordan's character, who is actually his brother, Killmonger, was left behind by his dad for political reasons, is now resentful of T'Challa and wants to take over because he has a globalist view to help the poor, disenfranchised countries around the world to basically rise up and take over from the man. That's the strategy here, and that's the plot. And so that's the battle. And so from a conservative take, there's a lot of things talking about this, being what it is. But the obvious take is that borders matter and country sovereignty matters. And I don't think T'Challa or the people of Wakanda had any problem with that as long as people coming in were vetted properly and loved the country. I think that's a common sense thing that many people don't necessarily want to admit for other political reasons, which you can kind of get what I'm hinting at right now. So I'm going to leave it at that. And that being said, I think this movie is fantastic. I'm giving it a go. Coming in it from that standpoint, there are some whitey jokes here and there, but you know what? That's all good. I mean, it's actually humorous. That kind of stuff was there all along in the 60s and 70s, 80s and 90s, and early 2000s. It didn't become a problem between them until recently, until people just got offended by certain things. But aside from that, I think the movie is fantastic. It's definitely a go in my book. And Black Panther, it's a really good film. So my final take on this is that Black Panther is a great film that the family will enjoy. It won't overly wow you, but it may, depending on what your sensibilities are for these kinds of things. For me, I've seen it before, but I liked the new context that they brought it in and the message that they were trying to say. So 14 is the overall score, which translates to a 3-star ranking and a go from me to you to check this film out. But the important thing is, what do you think? Did you like Black Panther? Let me know. I understand that I did this review way after the release date, but I figure 10 years from now, who's gonna know, right? So, but still, let me know, because I'd be curious to see your comments and rebut or agree with what you have to say, because these are still important issues to me. And so if you enjoy the content on this channel, please do me a favor and like and subscribe and share with your friends, because I want to get this word out so that we can get more content going, because I think this messaging can be helpful if we have dialogue and discuss the issues of today in an entertaining fashion, especially through the medium of movies and television and entertainment in general. So with that, I'm going to check out here, and I hope to see you guys on my next conservative take. Take care.